Good morning. There it is. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Too much?
Yes. One thing I don't like is when people are extremely positive in the morning.
Wake up, you sleepyhead.
Yeah, those people should leave me alone.
Love, laugh, and be happy.
It takes now that I'm doing the matcha this morning.
What?
It probably has enough caffeine, but I have only made a little slight dent. But this is a little more labor intensive to make than coffee. And I don't think I've truly fully figured out how to make the matcha. It's infusing it with the water so it's not so grainy.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you make that, or is that something you bought?
No, make it. Oh. You need a whole setup. And
there's some sort of a wooden.
It's a bowl with a kind of bamboo whisk.
You have to face east. I'm pretty sure you have to face east.
But I use one of those hand frothers. And I mean, it's good. But I mean, I don't have years of practice.
All right.
But it gives you a different kind of boost, I think, than coffee. So
really?
Yeah. But it's good.
It's supposed to be very healthy.
Yeah, a lot of antioxidants. Speaking of antioxidants, there he is.
No, not quite. There he is.
Harry, do you hear?
Scary Harry.
You're coming in blurry.
Jim, I'm disappointed in you.
Uh-oh.
He's coming in.
First of many. What did I do now?
I don't think you can hear
You
us.
didn't show up.
Oh, I bailed on you yesterday. Yeah. Well, it would have taken me as long to get there and home as I would have had to. Actually, I wouldn't have had less time to hang out.
That's a bunch of bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit.
No, it's true.
Because it took me a long time to get down there. But the traffic going back.
Do we want to talk traffic this early in the morning?
No. Well, here's the deal with LA and rush hours, which our rush hour is probably 7 straight hours. But in the afternoon, driving up the 405 north is a pretty not crowded. You found that too, Harry, right? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Well, at that time of the day, it wasn't.
Yeah, at that time. But I mean, it was 3 o'clock. 3 or 4 o'clock. So here's what happened. We met in Long Beach at Bagotel, which is an old school record store run by an old school guy that only takes cash. Yeah, Harry ran away.
He's mad at me
because he's on his cell phone, and I don't think he's attached to the Wi-Fi where he is. Oh. Maybe that's what's happening. But Bagotel in Long Beach, and he's going through. You tell me, you know the guy pretty well, I think, Jim.
Uh-huh.
And here's what's funny with that guy. I've met that guy at least 10 times.
Right.
Maybe more. And he still kind of doesn't recognize me.
No, he does.
No, so he asked me questions. It's like, dude, I've met you like over 10 times. So, but he did do one cool thing. He looks like he's in the process of revamping the store's inventory to swap out with whatever warehouse he keeps most of his records out.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if that's a regular thing with him that you might know. But he had boxes open, and he had one box of classical. And I go, ooh, classical, let me look through this. And he goes, wait. And he goes, it was like a nursery school. He goes, go get one of these little green chairs. And he pulled these little nursery school green chairs out.
Yeah.
So you can sit down. In the fixtures in the store, he has storage under the bins, and these kind of doors lift off. and he showed me where he kept all the classical. So I went through a lot, and guess who I got on FaceTime?
Poetry.
Michael Poetry. And I was going through classical and saying, should I get this? And he goes, yeah, get that. And I think it was fairly priced for what I found. But I don't think Harry had the same takeaway from him.
Well, here's the deal. I had those 2 Springsteen records, and I thought the guy is a dick. I did not like him at all.
Oh, you didn't?
And then it was like, it's cash only. So he's pricing records. There was 3 records in the bin. 2 of them were marked exactly the same record. 2 of them were $6. One of them wasn't priced, and that one was a little bit nicer than the other, a little bit. So I pulled it out. So he's pricing them, and he puts $15 on it, but the other 2 were $6. I said, well, just so you know, I've only got $40 in my wallet. He says, I don't give a fuck what you got. So right then I thought, nah. So we left. Rob loaned me $5 that I needed, and we left. And then you said, hey, you left records there. I'm like, I'm not going back to get those. Fuck him. I'll go get them somewhere else. So,
well, there you go.
No, I didn't like the guy.
To me, he's a typical old school record store owner. It really depends on the day you catch them, the mood that they're in. That dude doesn't get around well. I don't know what's going on, but he's old.
I think he was trying to be cute.
How old?
Yeah,
I think
could be.
I think he was trying to be
cute. No, he was.
I think he was trying to be humorous, but the dude is as tall as I am, and I gotta guess if he's not 75, he's had.
What difference does that make, Rob? You ageist. God damn it.
Let me finish. How old do you think he is, Jim?
300.
Yes. And he doesn't get around well. He has
his knees are shot. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. So, and he said to us, like, I'm not making excuses for him, but he said to us, I'm revamping the inventory of the store. So I feel like he's caught up in all this, and that's the mood we caught him in. Although he's generally humorous, because I was making comments that he found very funny. Like I was bashing places, and he thought that was funny. And but we've gone in there and caught him in a good mood where he gave his records kind of for free. So I think he's a typical guy.
Yeah.
Just like any other old school record store guy, if you catch him in a good mood or you catch him in a bad mood, that's really going to reflect what kind of deal they give you.
He came
on.
on.
That's true with anybody.
He came
but
on.
That's true with the old school record store guys. That's who we deal with to buy records.
So when I walked in the store, there was nobody there. And I walked up and he said, can I help you? What are you looking for? I said, well, I don't know. I just got to look around. I'm here visiting from Washington. He goes, oh, here. And right away, he hands me a Record Collector News.
Nice.
And I said, oh, I know Jim. He goes, oh, you know Jim? And immediately he called you.
Yeah. So, yeah. He was trying to be cute.
He was. But when he put $15 on the record that the others were $6, that was it. I said, no, I'm not dealing with this guy.
Yeah. Wait, what does this mean? What does this? Elaborate on your comment.
I can't. Just so you guys know, I can't see the comments. So I'm sorry if I don't respond.
Everybody, this is your opportunity to bash Harry. He can't.
It was 9Ox 111.
So okay, so let's continue the story. So we went there, and Harry bought records, and I bought a bunch of classical. Then we went to Third Eye in Long Beach, which is a tiny store, but I like it because I generally will go in there and find stuff. I'd say he doesn't. The old stuff he puts out is very iffy sometimes, but I usually will find stuff at an okay price, not the best price, but okay. So I bought a couple records there. Then we went to lunch, we were going to go to Fingerprints. So we went to lunch at Polly's Pies, which if anyone...
Big mistake. Woo!
No.
Was it a big mistake? It was good. You know what, Jim?
But I was expecting pizza.
Jim likes a place in Long Beach because they make a special cake, but it's pretentious. It's a pretentious place. They won't sit you until your whole group is there.
Oh.
The whole vibe there is pretentious. In fact, you get the same food at Polly's Pies for probably less, and with us, less aggravation. But we went there. We had a good meal. Harry treated us to. We met up with Delphina. That's the thing I've left out.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to meet Harry, and we had a good time. And then
She's probably sorry now.
Yeah, we went. We had lunch. It was good, and then we went to Fingerprints. So Fingerprints moved from downtown Long Beach to the outskirts, really kind of not in. It's Bixby Hills. That's the area, Bixby Hills. So, and Fingerprints has been open for 4 months, and they still don't got their shit straight.
Really, it's a dump still?
It really is. It's half the size. I've never really fully liked Fingerprints. I felt like their prices were high, and they thought they had shit. It feels like a store where they think the stuff they have is the shit when it isn't. But the old space was kind of cool, and the areas were divided, and it looked like they had inventory. Now it's somehow, I don't know what kind of sale they did to sell off a lot of their inventory. Dude, you should have come to me. You should have come to me with it. I would have bought your records and sold them in auction. Okay, but never mind. Sorry. Okay, so then they moved to this new space. When we went there shortly after they opened, they shouldn't have opened. It was not well organized. In fact, I went to the CD section, the jazz CD section, and they only had up to N organized.
Yeah.
This time, S. They're at S. But it really just, I went to their classical section, which they seem to not know classical, and I picked up a bunch of records. The
classical section was like that big.
Yeah, but they still had a bunch of records that were priced cheaply, and they were worth more than that. But it just doesn't feel like they should be open. They need to get in. If they have a warehouse, they need to stock that store, or they need to start buying collections seriously.
Put Dana's comment up. That's probably what happened. Is that what happened, Harry?
That could have been it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in there, like there's boxes stacked, and you got to move a box to look at the one under it, and then you got to move that to dig the one under it. And they're like 4 boxes high.
Yeah, but that normally isn't the case. He said he was redoing the inventory of the store.
No. He always has boxes. He moves things around, but that's his shtick, man.
But he has boxes of CDs and stuff. The records looks like he was actively trying to.
Yeah, yeah.
We caught him. I've dealt with him before, and again, old school record store day. We caught him. I don't think on his best day, which might be more.
He needs a bigger location.
He's been there.
Rent, I'm almost positive the rent that dude pays.
Good morning, Mazzy.
Morning, Mazzy.
Did you take Harry to another shitty LA restaurant like you took the rest of us last time?
Hey, I went to Shake Shack last night.
How was that?
You could do that here in Seattle.
It was average.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Hold on. What did I tell you, Harry?
Well, I know, but it was on my list.
You know what? I went to the original Shake Shack when I used to work and travel all the time. And it was, but that was way before everyone started opening hamburger places. Shake Shack is right down the street from me, and me and Jim went to Shake Shack once. They nickel and dime you like ketchup and other things. Shake Shack's lame.
They didn't do that here.
His nice restaurant, to be pretentious, I know you were talking about pretense, is the Union Square Cafe in New York City. Is his Myers, the guy that one of the partners in Shake Shack.
That's his
favorite
restaurant.
Yeah, started in New York City.
The original Shake Shack was kind of a stand in one of the parks there.
And then they probably bought it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, I went to that. But in LA, awesome burgers are a dime a dozen. It really is true.
Shake
can
Shack's
get
not $30 for a burger and a shake.
Yeah, dude, it's not cheap. But
it's not.
But getting a good hamburger in LA affordably is a dime a dozen. That's one thing about
I've
LA.
never seen burgers where you get a dozen for a dime, Rob.
True.
Maybe
There
a
used
White
to be a place
Castle
called,
30 years ago.
Now I know why the Bagotel guy thought you were such a fucking idiot.
There's a Shake Shack in the South Center here, so on the way up to Seattle, you can have one in the food court.
So let me finish our day. We haven't had to go through the day. So we went to Fingerprints was lame. So I said to Harry, look, on the way back, let's go to Boogie Maru. That is the record store in LA that sells Japanese vinyl, meaning they have all types of music. It's just Japanese pressings. So, and it's a tiny store, but that guy is always in a chipper mood. The owner of that store is always pleasant. And we went there and we picked up a bunch of stuff. So I even picked up a record for Tim, the University of Vinyl, on his quest with QX translucent vinyl. And it happened to be something he was probably interested in. Yeah. So Boogie Maru, that's a good store. I like that store.
Did you see all that old he had in there, Harry? Did you see all the old stereo equipment he had in there?
Yeah.
Awesome. It all works too.
Are you going?
I'm going to show you what I bought there.
Are you going out again today? You two,
Yeah.
Or three, you, or
Record Safari.
Today, if anyone's in LA and wants to meet Harry, which is quite underwhelming, he really pissed off a record store owner yesterday. Come to. Oh yeah, this is cool. Let me make you big.
Yeah, but all he buys is Beatles shit all the time.
This is cool. Do you have this, Mazzy?
Now, why am I reversed?
No, you're not. You're not.
No, you're not reversed. You're reversed on your phone. But here
what is that? Because I don't have that cover. No, I don't.
This is it's got a book.
Oh, that's a Budokan.
Got a book with it.
Yeah, I don't have that version. No.
But it's not Budokan. It's an interview.
Oh, okay. That's even better. Worse.
So it comes in a plain white jacket.
Got it.
But it's just them being interviewed in Japan. So I've never seen that. I had to buy it.
Okay.
And then I got let's see here.
The Deep Purple.
This is a good album.
That's the second or Deep Purple album or third?
It's got Kentucky Woman, I think, and Hush. I'd never seen this Davy Jones record.
Why would
and I only buy
Hush isn't on that album, is it?
Isn't Kentucky Woman on it?
Yeah, but not Hush. Hush is on the first on.
I love Obi Strips.
I hear he's pretty good. Yeah. That's a good album. Okay. The world needs another.
This was only $19. So his prices, he's got a nice section of sales.
From Malay, you met Harry. All of us are the same as online.
No, I'm not.
I see you saw Delphina too.
Yeah. She was very nice.
The women came out to welcome Harry to Los Angeles.
Oh, and then I also got this.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah.
This is it's hard. Okay. It's a single.
That's a lot of big hair on that album. Okay.
And then this is probably something I'm going to flip.
That's exciting. Exactly.
But I like the Obi strip on it.
Did you
I spent a lot of money yesterday.
Did you find what the thing you never mind. You might have some gift things that you don't want to show. Hold on, there you go. That Kentucky Woman.
Oh, okay. It's in Japanese, man. I'm sorry. too damn early. You know, it's earlier here in LA than it is in Seattle.
It has not. Has not.
Okay.
The
I
days
thought
are
it did.
Oh,
short.
okay. It's their third album. That's right. Yeah.
Do-
Thank you,
get
man.
more. You get more light up there, right? What time does dawn crack?
You
in
talking about
Seattle?
me? It's
Yeah.
early,
No one's
but
talking
it's
about
but also we get an hour of light later than you guys.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
You know what? You're Harry. You're going through seasonal depression in LA.
So coming down, I was going to stop like somewhere in Oregon and spend the night, but because it stays daylight so long, I just drove all the way through Tacoma to San Francisco, 14 hours.
That's
Wow.
a long. I've done only that one. That's a long drive.
I've
Did you stay in
done,
San Francisco, or where'd you stay in Bay Area?
At my sister-in-law's in Danville.
Oh, that's not San Francisco.
The
No,
longest
no.
I've ever driven.
I went into Berkeley. That was it.
I've driven 11 hours straight.
Berkeley.
From-
Did you go to record stores in the Bay Area at all?
No one
Yeah, I
cares.
went to Amoeba and Rasputin's and Homegrown and another place. I forget the name of it.
There's on the way down. There's a few stores you could have gone on I-5, Santa Rosa. Did you were on I-5? Did you cut over to Bagotel from I-5? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now coming home, I'm going to hit I-5 and just go straight up. I'm not going.
There's a couple. Yeah.
over
Well,
the bay.
there's a couple places in not Aberdeen, Ashland, Oregon.
I drove from Burbank to Ashland in one shot. That was a good
Well,
drive.
you know what? You're ridiculous because you didn't even want to drive straight from Burbank to
I like
Long-
to take my time. I mean, I stop overnight when I go to when I drive to San Francisco one night.
And everybody loves Rosie. She was the star.
You
of
brought your
this film.
fucking dog?
That's why we drove.
Of course.
She's
So when
family.
did you? What day did you leave?
We left Wednesday morning last week.
So where were you Saturday? Did you take your wife out because it was World Martini Day? I know she likes martinis.
Oh no, didn't even know that.
Okay.
Don't tell her, please.
Well, it's too late now. But
I know, but I'll be in trouble.
How could you miss that?
I
She
didn't know.
did
it
open
until I
her Hendrix. She opened the Hendrix gin that you recommended. She liked it.
Is that an ensure you're drinking, Harry? Yeah, it is.
Where are you now?
Oh, up on some hill.
Where are you staying?
What's the name of it?
Were you staying with a friend?
Palo Verde.
Are you staying with a friend or in a hotel?
We're staying with her other sister. One sister lives here, and one sister lives up in the Bay Area.
Wow. Two sisters. Whoa, what a life.
So,
And
of the three sisters, your wife is the one who didn't marry as well?
exactly. Yeah, the
Sorry.
black sheep.
Yeah.
She got the military man.
So if
I'm in
anyone's in
love
LA,
with a military man.
if anyone's in LA today, we're going to meet up at Safari when they open at 10.
Mhm.
Then we're going to go
Safari at
to
10.
Atomic.
At 11.
Then we'll probably grab some lunch. And if Harry's up for it, we will go to maybe some other places.
Oh
Take her
yeah,
to a good lunch
definitely.
place.
Let's do
Look
it.
at some shit ass lunch place this time.
Yeah, Jim has his
Freak.
heart set on one of his favorite places.
Freak beat.
We go
Freak Beat. We could go to Sibylline. We could go to.
to Pasadena. There's a lot.
Yeah. I don't know if they're open on Tuesday. I know.
Well, I definitely want to go to Safari, but the other stores I've probably been to. So if there's stores I haven't been to,
Yeah, but
maybe hit those.
there's different records there than when you were last there.
Yeah.
Palos
I'm not
Verdes
sure.
did not
I
burn.
hope those
Palos
old
Verdes
records.
did not burn down. It's
That was-
still.
I mean, Rob goes to the same stores every fucking week and finds things. So
Yeah. Again, These stores turn over inventory. That's what they do.
That's my
People-
point. I'm agreeing with you. So shut the fuck up.
Wow.
No,
Even
I'm
when
saying,
I agree with you, you get on my ass.
listen, you're not the center of the universe, Mazzy.
Yeah,
I'm talking
I
to
know.
Harry.
But
It's
No,
this
it's-
is
saying,
Day.
I'm just saying, you know.
Again, I want to tell everybody, I can't see the comments, so I apologize if
Okay,
anybody's
all right,
commenting and I can't
I'll
see.
read you.
Wow.
I'm going to read you the comments. Dana says, "Good riddance, Harry. It's much more
Don't come
enjoyable
back.
Seattle shopping without you here." Chan says, "Harry, now Rob, I'm sure is tired of smelling what you smell like in
Okay,
person."
I just
The
wrote Harry.
Bagatelle record says, "Get that guy out of my store."
You have some kind of block because I just wrote Harry is a fucktard and it wouldn't show it. It wouldn't post it because it.
Yeah,
Really?
well, why are you trying to ruin my stream with the
No, I
dirty
wanted to see if Harry can actually see anything.
Oh, he can't see. Can
Okay.
see, but he can read.
No, channeling my Chad.
Well, I'm looking forward to today, especially. Hopefully, we're not going to stop by Record Collector News World Headquarters because I don't feel like cleaning.
You never feel like
We may not have time.
You won't meet the pig.
I hear it's a pigsty.
It's not. It's actually not that bad. Be surprised. They're kind of clean.
So Dr. Robert is on his way to Germany.
Yeah.
To Germany. I thought they were going to Woodstock.
No, they're going to. His wife there's some treatment they're hopefully going to get in for his wife in Germany. Yeah. Since the American healthcare system is so fucked up, there's some options in Europe that you can't get here.
We talked about that with the Bagotel was interested. He goes, have you been to the Record Collector? And I told him all the stories, and he was chuckling. So
we should take Harry there.
Really?
No.
Are you going to the Virgin Megastore off of?
Oh yeah, right there in Burbank.
Sunset.
That closed down like 15 years.
I know. Of course,
that closed down in the Bush administration.
Isn't the Virgin Megastore is on the site? Isn't it on the site where the famous drugstore was at?
No.
It's right around there, though.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
It was kind of at the corner of.
You're talking about Schwab's drugstore.
Schwab's was right near that.
No, that was in Hollywood. The Virgin Megastore is in West Hollywood.
No, Schwab's was in West Hollywood. It was at the corner of.
Schwab's was there. I've been to Schwab's, Rob. Have you?
I have when I was a little kid.
I've been to Les Schwab and got tires.
Got torn down from before already.
Oh yeah, but it was around. I thought it was on that site, but it was close.
Hey, Kimbo, there are no great record stores in Orange County. There's a bunch. They're okay, but there's nothing as good as that are in LA.
Next to Schwab's, there was a place called the Plush Poodle, which was a hot dog place. And I saw, as a young lad, Gilligan from Gilligan's Island eating there.
Okay, Mazzy, here's what happened. About 15 years ago, they opened a Schwab's drugstore near the Palladium.
Okay.
I don't know how long it lasted there, but they opened one.
Okay. Whatever happened to the Bullwinkle statue on Sunset?
That was down on. That was in Venice.
No. The original one where the animation office was.
Oh, yeah. That changed hands so many times.
But remember, it was on Sunset. Like when you're going.
No, it was on
towards UCLA. It was on the left side from Hollywood.
The Virgin Megastore was in a complex.
Yeah, I know that.
Is it Crescent Heights?
It's where there's upstairs. There was like an art house theater, cinema.
It's still that theater is still there. Yeah,
that was upstairs. And the Virgin store was like 2 or 3 stories. There was a cafe upstairs.
Oh yeah, it was big.
Yeah.
At the LA Weekly, we used to keep.
Literally, it's called the Mega Store. So of course it was big.
How big was it? How many square feet would you say it was, Maz?
2 bits by 2 bits by 2 cubits by 3 cubits.
Here's
2 by 4 is not really 2 by 4.
Hey,
No.
fuck all you people that talk about square feet. No one really understands it. Stop talking about how big a place is with square feet. We don't understand it. No one understands square feet.
Anyway,
Jim
my
likes feet.
grandma Minnie lived on Crescent Heights and Fountain, so I was
Yeah,
pretty.
the Guitar Center on Sunset has don't they have handprints from a lot of the musicians in front?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
I
you know a
thought they
lot
were.
about
I
Hollywood.
thought they were
You know much
plaster
about-
casters.
I
It's
spent
like you're
a
a
lot of
native.
time, and
It's like you're a native. You know all the.
I don't know as much as
You
you.
know
but
all the shit that doesn't matter.
I've
Yeah,
probably been
they
to
have a
LA.
fake-
I've been to LA 200 times.
They have a
Seriously.
fake.
Yeah,
they have
and
a
they're
fake
counting,
Roman
Mazzy.
Chinese
You
in
only
front
have a
of it.
limit of how many times you can visit.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been to LA a lot, and I spent a lot of time down there. And
I've only been to LA like less than 200 times.
well, you live there, yeah.
I know, but me leaving and coming back.
We were trying to think of a restaurant we went to, like during the heydays of advertising, going down there for photo shoots. There was a great restaurant right off of Robertson called Shia Brasserie. That was so good for a while. It was really good.
I'm going to
One
show
of
you
my
my
favorite-
view from here.
Back in the 80s, one of the there was all this health food shit going on.
Right.
So at the number one health food restaurant was on Wilshire Boulevard down in West LA, and it was called the Fragrant Mushroom, and it was all gluten. Everything was made out of gluten.
Is
Like,
that where Woody Allen filmed Annie
no,
Hall?
that was the
outside?
source. That was the source.
Oh, okay.
But this was way after that in the 80s. The most shishi health food store, all gluten.
Wow.
Health food restaurant, all gluten.
I don't remember anyone complaining about gluten when I was growing up, or peanut allergies. Do you remember that? I never, ever.
We had a few kids that had peanut allergies, but then they ate
But
peanuts.
then they
and got over
die,
it.
and you
Back
don't
then,
hear from them.
back then
You
they
don't-
died.
No one's bitching about it.
or they got sick less each time.
Oh, yeah. I
Build
get
up a
that.
tolerance, man.
We did drive by. There's a health food chain called Mother's, right? We drove by a big giant Mother's.
Yeah, mother, I had you. You didn't have me. That place.
Yeah, it's not.
I hear the sound of marching feet. Yeah, Pandora's Box. That was right around the corner.
I
from
think
Brown's.
right near the old Virgin Megastore is that sushi restaurant where you could eat it off a naked lady. I think it's near there.
You've been
There
talking.
used to be there used to be a strip club right above Beverly Center. On
Do you still have your membership card, Mazzy?
Yeah.
I was never a member. I had clients took me there.
Mazzy likes to
Liar.
describe strip clubs on how good of a buffet they have there.
See, in LA, I think you could.
Come on, show me some comments. Keep me involved here.
Okay, Baggy says because you're the only person who has celiac disease. What is celiac disease?
Don't ask.
Italy, yak, 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 yak. Isn't it a Billy Joel song?
Get Mazzy.
Heart
You're
attack.
100% too old to make comments.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'll show some records I picked up the other day.
Mel's Diner, Doc, started in San Francisco. That's where
Yeah,
it started.
but it's a chain now, and there's a bunch all over LA.
Yeah. But it started in San Francisco. If you ever saw the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, when Spencer Tracy goes out to get a milkshake, he goes to Mel's. And also, they film Mel's, even though it doesn't take place in San Francisco, in American Graffiti. That's Mel's on South Van Ness.
Yeah, but American Graffiti they shot in Petaluma, right?
Petaluma, and they started in San Rafael, and then there was hassles, and they moved to Petaluma.
Oh, yes. Yesterday we drove by the high school that they filmed the facade for Beverly Hills 90210, although it's not in Beverly Hills.
That's in Torrance.
Yeah. My brother-in-law taught there.
Yes, I ate at the original Ben Frank's on Sunset once.
I never knew that. I don't know that place.
What's your call it on Hollywood is still open.
Remember Dino's on
The
Sunset?
best place was the Brown Derby. After your meal, they bring you a little plate with frozen mini Snicker bars.
Barney's Beanery is still there, isn't it?
It's a
'Cause they have,
chain.
like-
There's several. There's one near me. There's a chain of them.
I first heard about that from the cover of
In
Cheap
fact,
Thrills.
there's a Barney's Beanery in Burbank. There's one here in Santa Monica. The famous ones in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Want to see the new paper? No.
Okay,
Sure.
I
You
was
find you have a tribute issue, huh?
Yeah.
Did you get? Is it now? It was written before, or do they talk about him like a tribute to him dying?
Who
I don't
reads-
like the color scheme.
Who reads this crap, Mazzy? No, it's
Did you switch? Did you switch the cover of it like in the last minute just because for the death?
we were going to do a Zappa cover, and then
So you couldn't put Sly Stone. You had to put the white guy.
well, you know, it was a
You
printing.
couldn't
thing.
do both.
No, you know how black people don't print.
God.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm the only one who puts black people on the cover. I do it all the time.
You could have done Sly and Brian. You know, you could have done like a Ying.
Liam, Slyburn. What it comes
What
down to,
about Rick Derringer?
as you well know, Mazzy, the cover comes down to who's got the best fucking pick.
That's
all.
true. Now, I didn't know Harry posted something yesterday. I had no idea who the guitar player was in Bad Company, so I'm sorry.
Mick Ralph.
And Mott the Hoople. I didn't know his name, even though I have those records. So he died.
Man, they're dropping like flies.
Well, I mean, look at the age group.
You know,
right?
people
I
die
know.
all the time, dude. There was
Now
like
it's-
there was one upsetting thing yesterday. I don't know how many people are watched. There was a young woman who was a fox rescuer, and I'd watch her videos in Minnesota, and I didn't realize how troubled she was. But she was very big rescuing foxes, and she took her own life yesterday. It was very sad. So, but I mean,
So
that stuff is
terrible.
upsetting.
Herkimer needs to be banned. How do we ban Herkimer?
Come on, I got to see these comments.
We're not.
He's
Keep the
saying
comments coming.
Wilson is better than Zappa.
We're not banning Herkimer. He's a
He's-
reason that he
He's
makes
got
all of us.
problems. He's
No.
got- if he
He-
thinks
you know,
Brian
he-
Wilson is better than Zappa,
I
Hey,
would
wait.
say
Hey, I'm talking here. He makes all of us smarter. So he's not
Okay.
leaving.
Is Fluffy in the comments?
yes, he is.
how come Fluffy's not hanging with us today?
Okay, Fluffy. If we
That's
don't
cool. Be cool.
if we don't
Be
meet
a
up
jerk.
today,
Go to work.
I'm going to leave the record with Rob for you.
See what I did there, Jim?
No, I missed it. What?
Cut school. Be a jerk. Go to work or whatever.
Joey,
Hey,
go to work.
hold on. Okay, someone post something interesting and I'll post your comment. Okay, I'll post this one. Not that one, Fluffy. Sorry. Are both overrated geniuses. Geniuses never the right. I mean,
You know, I got to tell you,
No. Overrated.
I don't
Zappa-
get the Beach Boys were not the gods everybody thinks they were. They had a lot of great songs, but they were not.
They made
Yeah.
maybe 3 great albums, maybe. But they made a lot of great songs. And
But none of their
Great
albums
single.
were. What's the thing you're doing,
okay,
Rob? with the-
here's a good
those
here's a
tips?
good way to rephrase
tips?
all of this. Mazzy.
yes.
Okay, name an American band that had a near similar impact the Beatles had.
The Byrds.
No
In the
fucking way.
60s.
There's
In the
no
60s.
fucking
Absolutely.
there is no. You know what? What was the Byrds' #1 song? What was their biggest hit song?
Miss Tambourine Man, Turn.
Who wrote that song?
So you want to
They
be a
did
rock
not-
and soul
They
star?
hold on,
8
Mazzy.
Miles
Good.
High.
Who wrote Mr.
Good.
Tambourine Man?
Who wrote
Dylan.
Mr.
No, of
Tambourine
course he didn't
Man?
write it. Yeah. Or
Okay, so fuck and the Byrds. No one talks about the Byrds, so no.
well, that's the
Say
problem.
no.
Well, you could say the Doors.
Yeah.
Doors had a big
Doors,
influence.
I would say the Doors more than the Byrds.
No, the Byrds had a bigger influence on bands
No, they
throughout.
did not.
REM,
they did not.
Wilco,
They did
the
not.
whole Americana thing.
I doubt very
country
seriously.
rock, folk rock,
I
raga
doubt very.
rock,
I doubt.
psychedelic rock. They had one of the first psychedelic songs.
And I
One
have
of
to
them.
shut this guy up. I doubt very seriously.
They were really good at copying other shit.
No.
None
I
of it
doubt
was
very
theirs.
seriously
None of it was
that
theirs.
REM. If we held a gun to REM's head, they would go the Byrds. I
Yeah.
seriously doubt that.
Oh, they all picked up the 12-string guitar. Tom Petty, the Byrds. Tom Petty, the Byrds.
You know what? Tom Petty. Hold on. Tom Petty had more of an impact than the Byrds.
Yeah, he did. I'm not saying after that. Of course, he came at a bigger time and everything. The Byrds imploded, definitely.
The only thing wrong with the Byrds was their music and their singing and their songs. Other than that,
The best thing about the Byrds
the problem
was
was
David Crosby.
and Roger McGuinn. And David Crosby
You know what?
As talented as he is,
sorry, Mazzy.
what a
Crosby,
fucker
Stills,
David
and Nash
Crosby was.
have more of an-
As great as he was a vocalist, David Crosby was the biggest fuckhead. But he was a
I
great
agree.
singer.
Mazzy, you're close to becoming the biggest fuckhead. All I'm
can't
doing
tell
is
you
telling
what's
you that you failed. I gave you a
Look.
perfect opportunity to shine, and you failed with the
Yeah.
Byrds.
ZZ Top was a great band, but they did one thing like 10 times, 100 times. You know, I like ZZ Top, but
Nobody's mentioned Bread.
no, they haven't.
I would think Brett
I
had
got
more of an
some nice
influence than the
sourdough
Byrds.
with Portos.
That dude, David Gates, wrote all those songs. Am I wrong?
Yeah. And Larry Netchell, or whatever, however you say it, he was in the Wrecking Crew.
You know, the Byrds were the first big hit, aside from like a one-off with the Beau Brummels with Laugh Laugh. The Byrds were the American. It's too bad because when they went to England, they were hyped as the answer to the Beatles, and they did a whole different thing. But Roger McGuinn was influenced by George Harrison with the 12.
You know what? The most irritating musician of that time is Roger McGuinn. Boy, was that guy
Yeah.
every time he came in, just spin.
I'm talking about
lucky.
the first. I'm not even talking about Eliminator, Patrick. I'm talking about the first few records, which I like, of ZZ Top. But they're that kind of bluesy rock, and they're all in the country bluesy rock Texas thing, which is fantastic. But it's kind of the same thing over the first 3-4 albums.
I might not agree with ZZ Top, but compared to the Byrds, ZZ Top reinvented themselves.
Yeah, they did
successfully.
So did the.
But
the Byrds did
well,
too.
The Byrds went more country.
How did the Byrds reinvent themselves?
Sweetheart of the Rodeo was basically kind of the country rock album. It just stiffed. It didn't, but it influenced so many bands at the time.
I think that's a big failure on the Byrds.
Also, the Raga rock psychedelic thing with 8 Miles High. 8 Miles High was influenced by John Coltrane. When's the last rock band influenced by John Coltrane?
Oh, come on.
But you know, the Beach Boys didn't even play their own instruments. They had the Wrecking Crew, and yet the Monkees get shit for that.
Listen, Harry, Kokomo is one of the greatest songs of our life.
That's the good one.
What's the term?
It's a good song, but
non-skip record, Rob. A non-skip. What is it?
It's a record. Non-skip means you would listen.
Patrick, I like those early. I like the early ZZ Top records better than Eliminator, but I like
Beach Boys Today. Beach Boys Today is a perfect album.
You think so? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that record, but I listen to Pet Sounds, Freak Out, and one other record. They all came out.
Wild Honey is a good album
Harry
too.
Probably like Beach Boys Love You.
Oh, Pet Sounds, Freak Out, and Revolver.
Beach Boys Love You is a good album.
And you probably like 15 Big Ones too.
Well, I'm telling you.
You know what? What about Holland? That's a good album.
That is a good album. Holland and Surf's Up are two good albums. Guess who's not on those two albums? Really? I mean, a little bit. Brian.
Didn't he?
I mean, he's part of it in the DNA.
You know, I'm not saying that Brian wasn't a great songwriter and had great production. He did. But I just didn't think they were a great album band.
He never grew into anything.
Well, we all know Pet Sounds stiffed when it came out too. Nope, it didn't really do that well. Once Paul McCartney and others said how great it was, it really became his story.
And I just listened to it last week, and I was disappointed.
I think it's a good album.
There's like half of it is throwaway shit. Half the songs are.
Yeah, Beach Boys. Yeah, I agree. Holland and Surf's Up are good records.
And Smile is not the ultimate album everybody claimed it was going to be.
When Brian Wilson took LSD, he went da-da-da-dee-da-da-da. When the Beatles took LSD, they went,
gonna eat my vegetable.
Turn off your mind and float downstream. It is not dying. They changed. They went from writing about holding hands to fucking freaking out. So
Notorious Bird Brothers. Wow. I mean, that's
Hey,
an amazing album.
I've told the story. I've met Brian, and he never got over the first hamburger, so he ate a second hamburger.
You know, the Byrds made better full albums than the Beach Boys. Notorious Byrds Brothers, Fifth Dimension, Younger Than Yesterday, Miss Tambourine Man, Turn, Sweetheart of the Rodeo. That's 6, 7 right there. Untitled. You know, they made
Did
a
you
couple.
say 5D?
What?
Did you say 5D?
I did a
Fifth Dimension.
I said Fifth Dimension. I spelled it out.
The Byrds just didn't have an edge. There was just no edge to it. It was just.
Oh God! I mean, they had an edge like the Beatles.
You know what?
had an
I'm going to
edge.
make a comment right now that I think people will agree with me. The Ramones had a bigger impact than the Byrds. Come
They
on.
had a big impact. I agree.
I agree.
I would agree with that.
Different
But they
era. We were
didn't have as
talking.
much diversity.
Partridge Family. The Partridge Family.
You can say
I
different
love the
years.
Ramones, but they did the same thing over almost all their
100%
albums.
they did the same thing. But
The Byrds didn't.
what's that stupid
Byrds
line that
evolved.
someone made? 3 chords and the truth or whatever?
What are you talking about? Moody Blues?
too.
But I'm just saying that the Ramones had a bigger impact than the Byrds. But I would not.
So I did see the Beach
I would
Boys. How many
never
people have seen
compare-
the Beach Boys?
I would never ever compare the Ramones.
I saw them
to the Beatles.
73 with.
There's
No,
gotta
but
be a.
it wasn't
there's
the
gotta-
Beach Boys.
I would never compare the Ramones to the Beatles. I'm just trying to find a band, an American band, that had the impact the Beatles.
Well, the Ramones were one of the big first punk bands that influenced a lot in terms of punk. I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. But the Byrds.
Now wait a minute, Rob. What impact did the Beach Boys have?
Well, okay.
Show me the impact they had on music.
Hold on,
Paul
Harry.
McCartney.
Take another swig of your old man juice. I never compared the Beach Boys to the Beatles. Yeah, other people did. I didn't.
No, you did. You said they had
No.
the impact of the Beatles.
No, I did never. Those were go rewatch the stream. Never came out of my mouth.
Even Creedence
I-
Clearwater
when
was
I
influenced
posed-
by the Byrds.
I
Even
think
CCR
Kokomo
was
had the
influenced
impact
by
of
the
the
Byrds.
Beatles.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I posed a question to Mazzy. Name an American band that had the impact of the Beatles.
The
He
Byrds.
said the Byrds, which was horrible.
Creedence was influenced by the
Yeah,
Byrds.
but you inferred that the Beach Boys had the
No,
impact
you
of the
know what?
Beatles.
Okay, this is bullshit. If anyone who's ever met
This is
me
old man
virtually
arguing.
in any other way, I do inferred is not a part of my deal. I directly say everything I mean. I don't have to beat around the bush. I'm not inferring. If you want to ask my opinion on the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds is a
Bring
awesome
out
album.
Russell S's comment. Bring it up.
Mazzy.
Russell's comment. Bring it up.
Hold on,
Okay,
man.
so my feeling is Pet Sounds is an awesome record, and bands to this day, do have influence of the Beach Boys in their music. They do, but a quadrillion more bands have the influence of the Beatles. Like even with Cheap Trick, they're very Beatlesque in their harmonies and the way the songs are. So that's an impact to me. Beach Boys have that. People do Beach Boys type things in their songs. But I'm feeling I wouldn't put the Beach Boys on the level of the Beatles. I don't have to infer. I'm directly saying this. Whose comment do you want up, Mazzy?
Russell, wherever.
It was like it became cool to say the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds is a great album. It's just like the people that say Trout Mask Replica is a great album. It became cool to say it.
Well, I'm not cool. I don't say those things.
I don't see even if you put a comment up there, I didn't see it. So I'm on a tablet that's screwy.
You know what I would have to say that Bob Dylan.
Put it up long enough for me to read.
Okay. I don't know your speed
I'm
of
old.
reading.
Yeah, Dylan had
I'm
his.
old.
Dylan had his-
After the Beatles.
Well, Dylan had a bigger influence than anyone.
Well, Dylan was huge.
Parallel with the Beatles. I mean,
Did Dylan influence the Beatles?
yes, actually.
He influenced John.
Each other. They influence each other, actually. I mean, you got to hide love
Well,
away.
Chuck Berry.
I have to say this. I'm saying this as someone who's not respected for my opinions. I was listening to Electric Ladyland, and I would have to say that record is on the level of the type of experimentation that the Beatles were doing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that
That's
album
his best
gets enough-
album, I think.
I don't think that album gets enough respect for
Yeah,
how.
I think that's his best album. Definitely.
Hold on. Can I finish? I don't think that album gets the respect of how experimental it was. And how when you say Jimi Hendrix, you think boom, boom, bing, boom. That album is not that. That's
Right.
not that album, right?
You just
Bunch of
sounded like
songs.
Trump. Boom, boom, bing, ba,
You know,
bing, bing, boom, boom,
Jimi
ba.
Hendrix to me influenced a lot more
Here, Adrian, good
guitarists
news.
than he influenced other bands. I love Jimi Hendrix, and he influenced guitarists more than bands, I think, personally.
But I think that Electric Ladyland is a record that people need to listen
Absolutely.
to.
But I
But
can't
if you're
believe
going to
what-
say the Beatles influenced people, then you got to say who influenced the Beatles. And you've got Chuck Berry, you got Little Richard,
Buddy
you've
Holly.
got Buddy Holly.
Yeah, of course. You got Lonnie Donegan.
Yeah, no one
Yeah,
knows.
but he doesn't count.
No
He
one
doesn't
knows.
count.
Here's
Skiffle
how,
never took off.
here's how
Skiffle.
people know.
That shit
Yeah,
almost caught on.
It's like a Dana Carvey skit with that guy. The only people know that when they watch a documentary about the Beatles, or even in Becoming Led Zeppelin, when they're going, "Yeah, everyone listen to all the Overgrown."
But in the UK, those bands were very influenced by not only the blues, but skiffle music, especially in Northern England. Yeah, skiffle was a big deal.
Yeah, fucks. You know what? I'm saying this now. Fuck skiffle.
But
Nobody's. I mean,
skiffle
Mick
was
Ralph.
influenced
Look
by
at Mick
America.
Ralph influenced so many people.
All of you can fuck off with your skiffle and your Byrds.
Oh man. I mean, Led Zeppelin not only influenced one, they stole everyone's influence and put their name on
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
Well, okay. Here's what
They
I'll say
stole
about Led
everyone's
Zeppelin.
innocence too.
As a young boy who listened to the radio, when I first heard Led Zeppelin, it was later Zeppelin. So you can't tell me that Fool in the Rain is like anything the blues type of stuff Led Zeppelin was doing that people attracted to them. I first heard Fool in the Rain and go, that's a really good song. That is nothing like the other stuff Led Zeppelin was doing, right?
Yeah, they finally wrote their own music.
Well, all I'm saying is, and then what's that? All of my love. That is not like what Led Zeppelin was doing.
No, that's their power ballad period.
Yeah. So all I'm saying, they didn't have a power. Well, I guess
I'm
But
kidding.
you know what, Rob? We have the advantage. Mazzy and I have the advantage of growing up with it and buying it when it was new and seeing them progress to that point.
Well, but I have a different advantage than you. So I mean, I understand that, but I also have the advantage of listening to the music now with the mindset of the influence. Because how come I can listen to bands from when I was coming up as a teenager that were heavily influenced by the Beatles? All I'm saying is I can't think of an American band of that period.
In 1960s,
the Beach Boys did,
Yeah.
but
in 1966, I think, if I get my dates right, there were two single. I mean, Good Vibrations. It was that end of '66, I think, but also 8 Miles High was such a different type of music and very different arrangement. And the guitar, like in the middle, it's almost avant-garde. That guitar 12-string thing. That's definitely, they took an influence of John Coltrane.
What other? Name a band in the 80s who were a 12-string guitar band.
Only the Beatles initially. Oh, in the 80s,
Tom Petty.
yes, later.
Tom Petty.
Yeah, Tom Petty, Peter Buck, all those 12 strings took it from McGuinn, not even George Harrison, he was the first one who was doing it. And then
All you gotta do is look and see who's playing the Rickenbacker 12 string.
even George Harrison says the song If I Needed Somebody, he took the riff from Roger McGuinn, the Byrds, and he even told him, he kind of twisted it around from one of the Byrds songs. Because McGuinn played the 12 string better than Harrison did because he was a great folk guitar player and a arranger early on. Oh, REM definitely.
Wow,
REM's the obvious one.
Harry, go get another
Tom
old
Petty.
man juice.
Okay, there's a term, as you know, of called Jingle Jangle, Jingle Pop, Jangle Pop. That's from the Byrds. It came
Oh,
from
that's like a little genre that went right down the drain. Jingle
no,
jangle.
but it wasn't big in terms of the charts, but it was a big
and
genre.
it was big. It wasn't big for a reason because it sucked. It wasn't that good.
That's not. It
Name a
didn't
band.
suck.
Name a band that's that.
Rain Parade, and I mean,
Okay, there you go. Those were very influential.
no, they weren't influential bands. They were influenced by. There's a subgenre that's influenced by the Byrds and Jingle.
What about
Pop,
Lovin'
Jangle
Spoonful?
Pop.
Turtles.
They're influenced by the Byrds. They came from the Byrds were doing the folk rock, the Mamas and Papas. They all went electric. John Sebastian wasn't electric until the Byrds did it. You know,
You can keep John Sebastian.
Well,
Hey, I'm a big John Sebastian fan.
Welcome back.
the Laws too, Nick. Yeah. Oh, come on, Terry. Peter Buck always talked about the Byrds.
Yeah, Terry, I believe you over Mazzy.
No, I don't. That's
Like, I'm a big REM guy, especially early REM on the IRS, which I'm collecting all that. Murmur, where he mumbled all the lyrics and he claimed that he never wrote lyrics. He claimed like he never wrote lyrics. That's the REM I like. But I would assume, since they're an American band, comparison to the Byrds, but I don't know.
Now, I want
Scotty,
Harry
you're being silenced. Go stand in the corner.
I want Harry to close his ears because a new single dropped yesterday from a newish band. They've been around for about 3 years, but their third song from their upcoming album dropped, and it's great. And I think this is a good band. Is Wet Leg, Davina McCall, their new song. I love that band. They got great hooks. Their guitar bass with a great female vocalist, really interesting. They're a little unique. I think they're one of the better things that's not quote pop going right now in records that are popular and selling. So Wet Leg is a great new record. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, the kids like.
How
them
do you
too.
think this Beatles children's record is going to go? I don't think it's going to be successful.
What are you
I've
talking
never
about?
heard of anything
The
like
Sons,
that.
the Sons are putting a record out.
Who?
Who is?
The children of the Beatles.
Is it an album or a one-off song? I think
I don't know, but I can't see it being very good.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? I mean, they're all good musicians.
I would short that record. I would short that.
I think those three were influenced by the Beatles.
Now, Harry, when you were driving down here, how many wet legs did you have?
I don't even know who that band is.
You know what? Listen, Dana, when a record store owner sees you enter the store, that's a cash grab.
Hey, Carolyn Wonderland is going to be playing in Tacoma at the Airport Tavern. If you've never seen Carolyn Wonderland, she's a great blues player. She played with John Mayall for years. I saw her when I was in Austin.
Joey, Laurel Canyon did influence a lot of bands, but the Byrds really the Laurel Canyon scene came out of like David Crosby and Graham Nash and Joni Mitchell, all that stuff from the Byrds, from the Sunset Strip. The Byrds were one of like the Doors. The Byrds were one of the house bands on the Sunset Strip. It was at Cirque or the Whiskey. They were playing there all the time. Buffalo Springfield too came from the Byrds and other groups, obviously.
What the fuck?
Crosby, Stills, and Nash from the Byrds.
Is that where you are, Harry?
It's interesting to me that it took them to leave the Byrds before they got good.
They were. Oh, come on.
Before they got
Byrds records sold a lot.
Clock should be destroyed, by the way, everyone.
Here's a lady that I like. There's a woman by the name
There's a lady I like.
Dominique Fils Aime. Dominique Fils Aime. I don't know how to pronounce
You know,
That's a good point right there.
That is
Earth,
really
I don't
just
know, but you should only
overlooked.
listen to me about
it's
music.
too bad that David Crosby was such a wanker because that really kind of imploded
Yeah,
the
you know
Byrds.
what,
If
Massey?
you ever watch the
Triad,
Monterey
the
Pop
triad.
Festival, if you ever watch the Monterey Pop Festival film and listen to David Crosby do his interludes between tracks, you'll know why they hated Crosby and why
Yeah,
he
but
got
Massey,
really pissed out.
all of these people were horrible people. Okay, we get
They
it.
weren't all horrible people.
Well, a lot of them were.
But listen, name another rock star who willingly gave his sperm to lesbians to have babies.
And that, unfortunately, that person died.
What?
Well, there you go.
The kid that he used his sperm with, what's her name?
I thought there were 2 kids. No.
Melissa
Well, one of them
Etheridge.
died. I don't know if there was 2.
Listen, all I'm saying is
Cross bashing is overplayed because it's based on reality.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash had more influence than the Byrds. That's my.
Look the way he treated Neil Young's new wife. You know?
Right. And still they had more influence than the Byrds.
Who?
Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yeah, I mean they got,
Crosby,
a lot
Stills,
of bands
Nash,
in the
and Young had more influence.
I
Than
think
the
it has a lot aside from Beatles and in the 70s. The record business
disagree.
exploded even bigger than the 60s. So those bands got huge in the 70s.
I don't think any that CSNN influenced anybody. By that point, whoever was making music like them was influenced by the same people they were influenced by.
Hold on,
I
Harry.
agree with
Here's
Harry.
what I'm going to say as a young person. I knew who they were when I was a little kid, and their harmonies. You're saying that didn't influence anyone?
Yeah, those harmonies came from the Byrds.
Well, fuck the Byrds. I'm saying if the Byrds influenced Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young,
No,
they did it better.
CSNN was
Gene
influenced
Clark,
by the
David
Everly
Crosby,
Brothers,
The
the Beach
harmonies of
Boys.
Gene Clark, David Crosby, and Roger McGuinn were amazing. The 3-part harmony they had was second only to the Beach Boys in terms of harmonies. You can't compete with brotherly harmonies. That's why.
Let's do a harmony right here. Let's all of us together.
Can I take a pause? Can I take a pause? Hey guys, can I take a pause for 1 second? I'd just like to make a public service announcement. Hey Joseph, last week I made a joke that please go watch my videos so the ads can run since I don't put ads on the live stream, so I can make some money. And Joseph went to every single one of my videos and left a comment. You can stop now. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice. Very nice.
Rick's Blue wasn't produced by Crosby. It was the first album or the second album Crosby produced of Joni Mitchell.
Look, here are the Byrds. They're way over here. They're not even on my radar. I don't own any Byrds music. Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Somebody that's very overrated.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash made 2 perfect records, and everyone after that was hit and miss.
Well, the
one with Dark Star is really good
but
too.
It's a good album, but it's not a great album, I think.
But the most overrated person from the Laurel Canyon, in my opinion, was Judy Collins.
Yeah. Well, she's not even part of the Laurel Canyon thing.
I find
she was Steven's girlfriend.
Yeah, but she was popular back in 1964.
I find her annoying. Judy Collins is annoying.
Judy Collins is the one who presented songs by Leonard Cohen for the first time before anyone else did. Suzanne. She was an East Coast person, originally, and she came west.
Who influenced the Mamas and the Papas then?
The Byrds.
No.
Because they were
folkies and jug band music.
Folkies going electric were influenced by the Byrds doing the folk rock thing. The folk rock term was coined by the press because of the Byrds. Folk rock, and then Dylan went electric like a month or right after the Byrds. Because he heard the Byrds, that's part of it, amongst others. He went electric because of the Byrds, because of how they were doing his songs.
Hey, listen.
I'm not a fan of Chinese food.
Hold on. Wang Chung basically was a disposable 80s pop band, but a big giant but the soundtrack they did for To Live and Die in LA is really good. that is on level with any scored rock band did for a movie. So I will not throw away Wang Chung like that. But if you go listen to the soundtrack to Live and Die in LA,
Everybody went John tonight.
no, that's kind of that's a good pop 80s song, but it's disposable. But their soundtrack they did to Live and Die in LA is really excellent. So there you go. To make it serious.
So
that's a good movie too.
On June 16th, 1965, Dylan recorded Like a Rolling Stone. A week later, the Byrds' debut album with the Dylan song Mr. Tambourine Man as the hit came out, and that song became a #1 hit. Dylan gave them, and from there they went on to be the Byrds. Dylan gave them Mr. Tambourine Man, but he released Like a Rolling Stone, probably one of the greatest songs of all time. That same month.
But
so,
you heard the Beatles recorded.
Did Dylan's version of Mr. Tambourine Man, was that released as a single?
Dylan couldn't figure it out.
Not as a single.
Not as a everybody. Single. He did.
The Byrds got an acetate of the song or a recording. Heard the song, and he let him record it.
He was offering it to people. He didn't think he could do it. So
his publisher was. It made Dylan more popular. The pop versions of Peter, Paul, and Mary also. You know.
No, Dylan was offering that song around because he couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, so. and McGuinn changed it. It was a 2/4 song. He did a 4/4 rock beat. Now the single, which I said in this video, the single on that. Terry Melcher didn't think the Byrds were great musicians initially. Only the single has the Wrecking Crew backing Roger McGuinn on the 12-string. The rest of the album is a whole.
And that pissed David Crosby off.
It pissed the whole band off. I don't blame him, but it became a hit. Columbia gave him a single deal, and okay, here's the jazz connection. The reason they got the audition with Columbia is because the manager of the Byrds, Jim Dixon, knew Miles Davis. He calls Miles Davis, and Miles, as a favor, which is surprising to me, but calls the president of Columbia, gets the Byrds an audition at Columbia, and they get a deal for one single, and that is Mr. Tambourine Man. Becomes a hit single in April. They go and record the album. The album comes out later in the year, and it becomes a huge hit. So Miles Davis,
all because of that guitar work.
It is the 12-string, right? It is that Jangle Pop. It became Jangle Pop.
As a side note, isn't Roger McGuinn a big trumper?
No,
I thought he was.
No,
that's too fast, Mazzy.
My favorite quote from Tom Petty in that documentary about Roger McGuinn is when the producer keeps trying to push that one song on him, he goes, "What's in it for you?" He says, "I could smoke a joint and write a better song than that."
Which song are you talking about?
There was one song that the producer, I think he wrote it, and he wanted to get it on the album. And Roger wouldn't stand up for himself. He was just going to, if you want it on there, I'll put it on. And Tom did not want it on the album.
Do you know which song it is?
No, I can't remember. Somebody in the peanut gallery might know. You never saw that documentary?
I don't.
Roger McGuinn.
Yeah, Roger is a born again. He doesn't really push it on people, but that's why he was Jim McGuinn, and he changed his name to Roger McGuinn after the first album, I think.
That's what he.
Yeah,
is.
why?
Christian, but maybe he's a dropper.
No, he is a born again, but he's not one of those religious people pushing it on. Yeah, I didn't know him.
I mean, is he a dude? Is Roger McGuinn just live off of what the songs he wrote?
He tours as a folk artist. Him and his wife. He drives around. So
How old is he now?
He's got to be 80 something, 84, 80.
So we went out for a family gathering, and the brother-in-law that I'm staying with right now, his father was there. His father is 102 and a half years old, and he's sharp. He hasn't lost anything. His hearing's kind of going, but for 102 and a half, that's amazing.
Did he pay for dinner?
No.
Did he go around going, I'm 102.5?
No.
My father is 100.5, and he goes around with a World War II veterans cap, and he goes into restaurants and people buy his fucking lunch.
Wow.
Rob should start doing that.
Someone bought I did it yesterday, and someone bought my lunch.
It worked. It worked.
We went into this really.
See, Jim, you could have had a free lunch yesterday.
God damn it! But it would have been at Polly's Pies, not at Jorgenfeld's Bacon Broil.
That place.
I was really disappointed that Polly's Pies was not a pizza joint.
Yeah.
We don't call pizzas pies in LA. There's no one who does it.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey.
Joseph,
Hey.
the Rascals were a great band, and I don't know what happened to them. They kind of imploded. And
They were better than the Beatles. They were better.
They were a
than
good East Coast band. I love
The Rascals' problem is they were on Atlantic.
Hey,
A lot of it had to do with how much
kind of
promotion
burned
you
brightly, and then they fizzled. And then I can't believe for decades that Felix Cavallari didn't really do a good solo career, because what a great vocalist. He kind of disappeared.
Dan B, I have one kidney. I will not qualify for any draft.
Hey, Nick, I have bad news. I got bad news, Nick. Not only did I have to peel the boomer scalper, sorry, Rob, but I had to peel your piece too. Yeah, sorry about that. Ran out of room.
Wait a minute. There's no boomer scalper in the new issue?
There's been no boomer scalper for a long time.
I can read it to you.
Because Jim doesn't know how to organize his paper.
No, I had an opportunity to run the boomer scalper, or I could peel the boomer scalper and put an ad in for a couple $100.
Well, I'm going to have to cancel my subscription that I never had.
Yeah, you should. But
Bye, Big Ian. Can you bring Big Ian's comment up, please, Waxed?
Here's.
I want to say goodbye. No, Big Ian. Bye.
Oh.
Wow, they get a full page, huh?
They're having a
Now,
summer
is
sale.
that going to be 20 to 50% off today?
No, not until July 14th, July 10th through 14th.
Well, I'm going to tell him that Jim said I could come in and get 20 to 50% off today.
Tell him that. You should.
I have so many boomer scalper articles that have been kicked out because there's an ad for a penis pump in the record collector news.
That's trade. That was trade. Yeah. We didn't even make Blind Dog big. God damn it.
I think if you use the penis pump properly, you can also use it as a record flattener. You just have to do it in reverse.
That's better than an old dad joke. You're getting better. You should stay in LA. Maybe it's the sunshine.
That's because I spent a day with Rob
yesterday. Sunshine is
yesterday.
making you funnier, Harry. Did you buy a new artist, new release?
Look at this picture of Brian.
No, I'm not going. Are you crazy?
Is that him at the rehabilitation facility?
He's on a diving board.
What's the matter? You couldn't find any pictures of him in the sandbox?
No. No. We got some Henry Diltz. Capital gave us some pictures.
Man, Henry Diltz, that guy was there for everything.
He's the coolest guy in the world.
Well, in the Valley, not just Valley.
I've met him, and I've seen
the LA version
shows.
of Jim Marshall in San Francisco. He was
except for one thing, he's not an asshole.
Well, Jim Marshall was an asshole, but he took great pictures.
What's his name is the coolest dude in the world. He just is. He's given us so many photos.
I know it. So many album covers. I mean, God, the guy took so many classic
photos.
With
those guys. He just was in the limo with them. He was the pal. He was he was the real folk rock guy.
Hey, Marcus. Also, Graham Nash, because Graham Nash was part of the Hollies, part of a 3-part harmony thing too. So,
Listen, the end all be all that we can walk away from this is the Byrds has influenced no one compared to
Bullshit.
the
They
Beatles.
look. I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but they were influenced by more people than they influenced the Byrds and Hollies, and then Buffalo Springfield.
If you want to see a good documentary, check out Henry Dilt's Under the Covers.
Oh, that's really good. That's really
Yeah,
good.
What is it?
I have that on DVD.
Okay.
It's great. It's super good. Who's it? What was his partner's name? The guy that did all
No, I
the
don't know.
graphic design. That's a good.
Oh, I know it. I forget his name.
Hey, by the way, Harry on his travels down to LA in Amoeba picked up a copy of Shawshank Redemption, which he has never ever seen.
Really?
Yes. Don't come on, spoiler alerts here, okay? Don't ruin it for me.
Tell about when the aliens land.
Listen, Harry, Harry, I would have a big giant vessel of your old man juice ready during the present rape scene.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Oh yeah,
Hey,
Gary Burden. He was the guy. Gary Burden was his graphic guy. Well done, Steve Cassidy.
So how long is it going to take me to drive to Record Safari from here?
You should leave now.
Leave now.
You'll get there Thursday.
I got to get there by 10.
I'm gonna say, give yourself 40 minutes ish. I think.
Yeah, I figure when this stream ends, I'll leave.
What
I
do you
might
mean?
go across the street
Wait,
and get cake.
Hold on.
There's a good bakery across the street.
Yeah, hold on.
I've been there.
Hold on. Are you talking, Harry, when you finish streaming in your pants during this stream?
I already finished that.
May I go to the bathroom? Certainly. Thank you.
Don't watch it on. Well, yeah, yeah. You know what's great about Shawshank? It's a slow simmer. It takes a while, but
would you stop, Mazzy? You're horrible because you give away all this.
I'm not giving anything. You have to be patient with it. That's the brilliance.
You don't. You know what? Don't listen to Mazzy. You don't have to be patient with Shawshank. You have to watch the movie from beginning to end.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to watch it from end to beginning.
Yeah. You should start in the middle. Mazzy is right in the
You know, my biggest complaint about Amoeba Records, they don't have a public bathroom.
What, except for Safari? What?
Wait, hold on,
have
Harry.
Public bathrooms?
Harry, just do what most of the people around Amoeba do. They just pee outside on the street.
Easy Street does. The only reason
in the store right in the aisle.
The only reason Easy Street does is because it has a restaurant. That's why it has it.
Freak Beat has a bathroom, and it's always.
See, what I do is I go to Safari, then I go to Atomic, then I go to Freak Beat mainly to pee, and then shop for record stores.
For me, it's all about the food.
There was one store that you guys were talking about yesterday, and somebody said, "Oh, it smells like cat piss in there." Was it Delphina? That store smells like cat pee.
I know.
Which store was that?
Ranking
the record store toilets. Yes, we are.
We do have Rob on video on my LA video talking about the bathrooms of record stores. So go watch the LA tour.
Here's the problem. Let's say you're a record store, and let's say you have a bathroom that's very accessible and you can let your customers use it. If there's one group of people I would never let use my bathroom, it's people who buy records. Have you seen these people? Have you seen the people?
Rob, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
There used to be a guy in Los Angeles who was notoriously bad at personal hygiene. He really smelled bad. And I walked into a record store one time and I'm like, oh my God, this guy needs to air his store out. And then behind me, I hear the smelly guy talking to me. And all the record stores in town referred to him as my number one fan.
And then you pick up the records and they smell. It's like getting the book that wasn't read in the bathroom.
I'm gonna say,
Bird's conversation was better than this. I'm sorry.
hold on. I'm gonna say this, and everyone should listen to me. No one, I mean no one, should do a number 2 in public. At a public restroom. Never. You should never. That if I want a law passed, if a politician is running and wants my vote, they will pass a law that no one's allowed to do a number 2 in a public bathroom.
The best thing to do is when
It's
you're
the
driving
worst
around
thing
LA
that people can do.
or if you're in New York City, as long as you don't look like a total slump, you just walk into a nice hotel and use the lobby bathrooms. That's the best place. They're always clean. You know, and there's tons of hotels in New York, and you can kind of just walk in unless you look like Rob.
Yesterday, Harry.
Rob likes to save water and flush every other time.
Here's what Harry did.
It's yellow, let it mellow.
Well, we met up at the Bagotel record store, and I walk up to Harry, and Harry turns to talk to me, and he goes, "Man, you're tall." All I'm saying to all of you, and you people are the guiltiest of anyone.
And I'm 6'.
No public number 2s.
Hey, concert buddy, it's the seriously.
You hear me, Kimbo? No public number 2s.
Yeah.
Do a
I mean, I used
video
to
on
work
it,
in New
Dan.
York a lot for work, and when I'd go around, walking around the neighbor, you know, you go to an ad agency, that's a great place. But on the way, when you're hanging out, you go into whatever hotel, a decent hotel, and you just walk in the lobby and use your bathroom. What's the big deal, Scott? I mean,
That's terrible, man.
they have bars and
listen,
restaurants there. They're
Can I
public.
just say something based on what Mazzy just said? That's why he's banned at all the Howard Johnsons.
No, they all have
Hojo.
restaurants and bars. Of course they have, you know.
Mazzy's first thing when he walks into a hotel is, "What's the code, please?
I just
What's the bathroom code?"
Starbucks have the codes, not necessarily hotels usually. Unless there's a
I only
small
use
bar.
restrooms where there's a hook and I can hang my hat.
Starbucks is the third space.
Oh, you know what? Here's another thing. If I'm in a public bathroom and I hear a guy go, "Oh, that was good,"
Get
I
out.
don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear that from you.
Write a song about that, Rob.
Yes, I don't need to hear that from you, Chris Record Bach.
You hear that and then a big splash.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
The worst thing though is when people
You?
that's bad, but when you're in the bathroom,
Oh, you got me on that one, Rob.
some guy's in the toilet doing that on speakerphone talking to somebody. That's worse.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
another
ice
one.
cream.
Oh, yeah, I don't need to hear this too. Yeah, John, we're gonna meet up at the thing. Oh, hold on 1 second.
You weren't this funny yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah,
We are
you know what?
We should have done that in Starbucks.
Doo-doo humor is about 80% of what I got going.
Oh, you got my
That's the guess who is
tearing up.
Yes.
Jokes.
Oh man.
And
I
you know
remember-
what? Here's the deal.
Hey,
and
I have a question for Mazzy. Mazzy, right before the light broke in your bathroom, did you hear, "Oh"?
I was upstairs, but I could
here's
hear the
another
crash
thing.
from upstairs. Rachel was
Here's
in the
another
hallway.
thing
Here.
I don't need to do. After I'm in the bathroom at the near it, hearing the guy go, "Oh, that was a good one." I don't need to be reminded that I heard that by seeing you walking around.
The vision of Rob with a skivvies or a towel, I forgot which, with glass all around him. And it's kind of like King Kong at the top of the.
You don't need to hear that story anymore. All I'm saying is, concert buddy, I don't need to be reminded that you groaned with delight as I see you walking around the record store. No public number 2s.
That's true, Elliot. 40
What was Elliot's comment?
Put it up.
Hey, here's another thing. I'm almost certain this has happened to Harry many times. Hey, we're out of toilet paper. Could you pass a roll over?
Well, what's the code they have?
Can you spare a square?
What's the Republican senator code when you're in a public bathroom and you want to give the code that you're ready for a
Hey, I want Elliot to know that I defended you yesterday, Elliot.
What?
I told Rob, I said, lighten up, Elliot.
Wow. Rob was bashing Elliot again?
This isn't true. There was no footage shot.
I would not, as much as Rob and I have a back and forth thing, I would never do anything like that to Rob or anyone else. So.
Yeah, thank you, Mazzy. Hey,
I wouldn't.
Here's another thing I don't need to hear. Hey, dude, can you flush twice, please? Courtesy flush.
I do not have a bidet.
Courtesy flush.
No bidets in the house. No bidets in the house.
This is much
well,
better.
now that we
No
have good
bidets,
water
guys?
flow
Oh,
again.
Yeah. You got to get a bidet.
I don't need a
Yeah, you
bidet.
do.
I got a humming guru instead.
Yeah, you need a bidet.
Nova.
Listen.
Once you go bidet, you never go
Your
back.
ass every day, not the whole ass.
Okay. Yeah, la-di-da-di-da. Marietta, little lamb.
Not the whole ass. Thank you, Red Fox.
Now at Record Safari, will he let you dig through boxes that are on the floor?
No.
Don't
ask him anything.
No.
Look him in the eye. Don't look him in the eye. Don't comment on his hair.
Is it like the soup Nazi?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
He's
I'll have a
does he have
Beatle
cup
record
holders
and
for
a-
coffee at the end of each spin?
Please,
Yeah,
sir. Yeah. And don't talk to the pretty girl with the tattoos. She's mine.
She's yours? Is that what you said?
She's very, beautiful.
I found them to be very friendly people.
What's
his name? Alec?
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, very friendly guy.
That guy's got his hair is way too good. That guy's got the best hair in rock and roll, and it pisses me off.
Him and
that other
Much friendlier than
Will Al.
Bagotel
Weird Al.
Records.
No,
He's
the
got
guy.
Weird Al hair.
No, the guy. Permanent Records. That guy's got.
Oh, Lance.
He's got good hair too. Sick of that shit. But those are good stores, and they're nice guys. Alex is the guy who, when you go to like some of the older record stores and you tell them about a big collection that's for sale, they go, ugh. Tell Alex. It's like they're too old. Their knees are shot.
I tell you, I would not in a million years open a record store at this point. It just
No.
I mean, you have to do the work, which you should.
It's too physical.
But it's not. It's a lot of work and a lot of competition, a lot of digging around.
What he said.
I admire. I mean, I'm in awe of people like Dylan Noble and that.
Can everyone remember this moment when next year Mazzy opens a record store?
No.
Can everyone remember that?
I could open up a record store with Rob because that fucker can.
Yeah, but even Mike in Groove, I mean, he just got another. I mean, he gets these records. We don't even see half of it, what he gets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I watched some of his Whatnot auctions. And he's got some pretty amazing stuff.
What a retail store, you're going to have theft, but I don't know how much record store theft there is.
Oh, there is.
Well, in the 70s, you'd be surprised. You would be chasing people.
I talk to record stores every day.
Yeah, we had the 8-tracks and cassettes behind a section. And then, of course, later we had the Sensormatic things that the cassettes would be in that would beep after a while. But people would steal records, in their coats. I mean, or just grab records and run out.
I've talked to more than one record store that said over the last 17 years that when they installed cameras in the store, within a week, they caught long-term customers stealing from them. Guys they loved.
And then that guy went on to put out a record collector magazine?
Yes.
Because I can't afford. Yeah.
Listen,
I was a dying
nothing
dad.
like listening to story number 7 that Jim tells where he would walk 1,800 miles down Hollywood Boulevard and walk into each store and shoplift candy. That's
Not
one of his good
candy, not
stories.
just candy. You don't even listen to my stories. I would steal anything.
But
Steal it.
you know, there is something. A good record store can make money and can do well. But I think, I mean, obviously, location is a lot to do with it. But a lot of record stores that do fail, I think, the store owners, or for whatever reason, they don't keep up with the times or getting collections and using things like Instagram to promote their stores and the collections they get in. They think they want to be old school, so they don't adapt
That's
to
not
times.
true. That's not true, Mazzy.
Well, I think
every
it is.
record store out there, no matter what they do, right now in LA, they're making money. The only thing that kills them, the only thing that kills them is the lease. Now they can do.
That's what I mean. Rent.
You almost have to own your building.
Yeah. The only people that I've ever seen
I agree with that. I agree with
real
that.
money in this business, they bought the building. That's the only
Real estate.
Yeah.
I don't think Amoeba sells a shitload of new records.
Oh, sure they do.
They're a gigantic store, yes, but they have equal amounts of used records. I think
stores sell new stuff. Freakbeat sells.
There's no
CD Trader sells used stuff.
Yeah, but the Freakbeat has told me that they sell less and less new records. It's
it's not
worth it. They don't make any money on it.
Yeah,
but
it depends what city you're in with parking.
Jim.
Look at Easy Street is in a neighborhood. Easy Seattle, not LA. Chance, you know Easy Street. Easy Street, sells a ton of new records, and as you know, they get a ton of tourists. And I don't know if it's just West Seattle, the vibe, the Pearl Jam connection, the restaurant. They get a lot of tourists in that store. They do a lot of merch, like Easy Street sweatshirts.
Well, they do in-store, live in-stores.
They do in-stores.
Hold on.
And there's no parking. It's street parking.
I have one thing to address right here. Elliot, where's there a high-end neighborhood near you?
Yeah, really.
Is it the one with an indoor toilet?
Rob, we talked about this yesterday.
I think Easy Street has a long lease, and they're in good with their landlord.
Hey, I'm not like you, Harry. I'm not going to avoid a good opportunity to make a funny comment. Okay.
You know, but it is, if I had a record store and I was in a position to throw money away, have someone run it, I would definitely have a cafe and or bar day and night to supplement, because you can make more on coffee and booze to supplement the rent. That'll pay your rent plus.
Harry had a record store. You know what works? T-shirts. T-shirts save August. They come in and buy T-shirts.
You know how many times I go in a record store and I say, "Have you got that shirt in a 2X?" And they'll say, "No, we're out. We're going to order some." I hear that all the time.
Well,
maybe you should go on the Slim Fast diet, Harry, and get a large.
Bees here, baby. Yeah, Premier Protein.
I know someone's going to say I'm fat shaming. You're not fat, so I'm not fat shaming. You're a large. You're a double X.
I'm tall. I'm 6 foot, and I need length in my shirts.
I can make a connection to Mazzy's desire to fat shame and the Byrds. If you give me 10 minutes, I can make the connection.
David Crosby. Okay, fat shaming David Crosby in his later years.
What a train wreck that guy was.
I have a good Mariah Carey in the store record signing thing. So when I used to travel for about 6 or 7 years doing movie screenings all over the place. We were in Chicago, and we were there to fill a screening at 9 o'clock in the morning for Roger Ebert to see a film, and they wanted an audience with him. And we were across the street. The Virgin Megastore on Michigan Avenue in Chicago was doing a Mariah Carey signing. So in the morning, there was a line of hundreds of people waiting to see her, and we went and handed out invitations to all of them. And that's kind of things we did. We took opportunities. Then we left. And Mariah Carey was 5 hours late. 5 hours late to her own signing. And when she showed up, thousands of people were in downtown Chicago. And we flyered out this movie we were doing. And we were done in 5 minutes. People called in and filled up the screening. because of Mariah Carey. So thank you, Mariah Carey.
Hey, Harry, do you know someone mentioned a mobile truck? Do you know that guy in Tacoma that has the mobile record store?
Yeah, the bread truck, or it
Yeah,
used to be a Snap-on truck, and he
Because I
sells
went,
records out of
is that what it is? Because I went to with Kimbo and I think we met you there. There was that
How long has he
bar
been doing
pub with
that?
a record,
it. Yeah,
There used
yeah.
to be
and
a
he
guy
was
down,
parked in
Near the
front. He was
Tacoma
parked in
Dome?
front.
there used to be a guy down here that did that. Didn't last.
I bought a few things from him. He had some good stuff. I remember, at least the time I was there.
It's a good idea.
Is it?
It depends. You
Yeah,
have to
you
have
can
a,
do pop-up, you can do events,
if
you
you can
drive
do
around.
pop-ups, like if there's a food truck place and you do a record, that would be a cool thing. Like
Well,
an
they
all-
do the, you know, and here in LA, they do that stuff all the time.
Yeah, there are
They
three.
do.
There are 3 record shows every weekend here in LA.
Yeah, but they do pop-ups with trucks and things and this and that.
Jim, while we got you here, what is the fucking deal? I am hearing nothing about this big giant August record show. Is that successful yet?
Final Con, yeah, it's totally.
I don't hear anything about it on
Oh,
the
you know what,
forums.
Jim, do me a favor, please.
I'll get him on the thing.
Get him to come up on the stream. Tell him.
We got
please
time.
Yes.
Now, what is this? I haven't heard about it.
This is a guy from Colorado who
August 23rd weekend,
who's done
LA.
some big shows in Denver and Philly, and now he's doing a show here in August in LA. He's got a great location,
Where is
Well,
it?
tell them to come to Seattle.
California Mart downtown, and he's a young guy, works his ass off. He's got sponsors.
Get
Yeah.
him to come.
I'll
Send an
get him.
email
I
right
will.
now.
I will.
Send it now, because you never will. Send it now.
Because I don't see anything about it anywhere except for you guys talking about it.
No, he's on social media. If you're on Instagram, it's there. I've
Send me
seen
that.
it all.
Send me his Instagram.
So what's how's it work? What's the theory of this thing?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
brings
you know,
records, or
Harry-
he brings
Harry-
people together?
Harry, I
Vendors
know
have-
you're old and
like
feeble-minded.
every other
You've
record
been to a
store.
record show
Vendors.
before, right? You've been to a record show, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what that is. Okay?
Well, yeah, but we have record shows here. Why? What does he do that's different?
Nothing.
He has it in places where people want to go to, like Los Angeles, not Puyallup.
You only can do as different as the vendors do, and maybe if you have food nearby or a food truck nearby, or I tell you, the great
So
thing.
what would he do in Seattle that would be different than the Seattle
I don't
record
think
show?
I don't think Seattle needs him. You know, there's plenty
Yeah,
of
there's
stuff up
probably no
here.
need for him in Seattle.
No, we got you know all the ones we have here. I don't think we need them here. LA maybe doesn't. I don't know. Does LA have any good record shows aside from Pasadena?
No.
So
The record shows here. Here's the deal with LA. As awesome as it is to go digging for records, no one from other places likes to come to LA for some reason and drag their records with them. So what you have between the Orange County Record Show, the Pasadena Flea Market, and other types of places like that, you have the same dealers dragging their records from each place to each place.
so is this going to be the same people? Because it's expensive.
Well, if we can have this dude up here to
Because
talk
it's not
about
cheap to stay in LA. I think I was considering going, and I didn't think I had a place to stay. But now my friends that stayed here or live in LA, they said they have a guest room. So if I can swing
Where
it,
where do they live in LA?
you know, it's a good question.
Well, good. They offered you a room, but they didn't tell you where it is. So
No, they did, and I totally forgot. It's a good it's a good LA location. It's
Do they have a decent bathroom?
knowing them.
Just emailed him. Okay.
You know, when Mazzy comes, they hang a sign saying "No number twos, Mazzy."
They stayed here
Out of
2 nights
order.
last week, and they're coming.
Use
They're
a
staying Thursday night.
Starbucks on the
On their way
street.
back from Canada, they're staying here one more night. Then they're flying back to LA on the Friday.
Look, I would like to talk to this dude because here's the deal. They do the VinylCon in Philly, and I know people who have gone at least 3 or 4 times they've done it. Even Billy talked about that place, and everyone loved it. The thing was, though, Philly is easy access for New York dealers or East Coast dealers or whatever to all go there. Problem with LA, is I don't know where there's a pocket of great dealers on the West Coast. Are people going to come down from San Francisco? Are they going to come out from like Phoenix or Seattle? Are they all going to come
You
down
mean like
there?
the Austin show?
Or the Austin show? People come internationally.
He'll get
Right.
guys. He'll get guys
At
from
Austin.
Denver and
So if we can get this guy up here to talk, then everyone here can do the due diligence to communicate that this might be a show worthy of traveling to.
Yeah.
Here-
Hey, Jim, let them know that maybe 100 people will see him.
but out of the 100, only about 6 or 7 might be interested.
Hey, listen,
Those guys don't have any money.
let him know that people who make number 2s at record shows will watch. But here's the thing to understand about LA and why we have dual sports teams from every league here in Los Angeles, because fans from those teams like to come out here for a game and then spend extra days taking in all the sights that LA has to offer as a tourist.
Well, and there's millions of people here. Millions of people
I mean,
that live here.
But forget about them. People like to travel to LA because it's not Europe. It's
When I drove in here, it was a 6-lane highway and it was almost a parking lot. 6 lanes.
Yeah. It's nothing.
Hey, Harry, can I switch?
Listen, I can mansplain to you better than anyone. You
Can I
girly man.
switch in the last couple of minutes? I want to switch to Harry a little bit because I know he's been hot and cold about this. But this week, Tracks 2 comes out, and I know people are pissed off about it. But apparently, the vinyl is selling out because they're not pressing as many of all these box sets. Not yet. I mean, I think it's going to, because what's happened, we found out with a few other labels on the big box set world now, they're not pressing as many. So they're not going to do represses of boxes, at least in vinyl, maybe CDs, but they are selling.
Experience Vinyl has it for $25 off with free shipping, no tax. Experience Vinyl.
Bruce Springsteen's Tracks 2, it's like it's like $299 for CD, $350 for vinyl, multi-box set. Someone like on the forums just got his today, and it doesn't. Friday's a release date, so that's early.
I ordered one.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. I've been hearing some of the things about it. Some of the tracks are amazing, and I'm kind of like
Steven Van Zandt just had an emergency appendectomy in Spain.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Anyway, because I know people are bitching the price is so high.
Not only is the box set coming out, they're going to do it. He's got another new acoustic or solo album that he's finished that he's going to release
next year.
I mean, he's
and
got
Tracks 3.
Possibly another.
He's already finished Tracks 3 apparently.
Tracks 3.
Yeah. And he acknowledges for the first time after saying no, that there is, or maybe not totally, but an Electric Nebraska they did record.
And we've known that for decades.
Yeah, but he kept saying in interviews in the past that he doesn't recall it, he doesn't remember, but now he says yes. So those Springsteen fans.
Well, Electric Nebraska basically turned into the Born in the USA album.
Different song.
That session turned into Born in the USA.
Yeah, exactly. That's what amazing about this. It's literally 7 albums full. 7 albums, full albums. One is actually just a mix of a bunch of tracks, but the other 6 apparently are actually fully realized albums. One is during the Philadelphia sessions when he was working with loops and stuff. He did an entire album of that stuff and decided not to release it. So for Springsteen fans, it's not just outtakes. These are not just outtakes. These are fully things he was ready to go in most cases, full albums, and he decided that's not what he wanted to do then. So this isn't except for one of the discs, it's not a hodgepodge of like random outtakes. That's not what it is. So if you're a Springsteen fan, it's no brainer, but you got to be a Springsteen fan.
I was debating whether I was going to get it or not, and then I finally did break down an order. When I saw that I could get it cheaper with free shipping and no tax, I said, okay, I'll get it.
Hold on, Elliot. These are titles that no one bought, right? Thank you.
Yeah. How
Well,
come Jim is muted?
because he muted himself. I
I
did.
had to sneeze.
Hmm.
Hey,
I
now
thought
did
you
you
went.
start? Hold on. Jim, this is an inquiring minds want to know this. Did you snort?
Did I snort?
Snort.
No.
That's when you sneeze and fart at the same time.
No. But I sharted.
Oh God. Here we go.
If
Let's go back.
Listen.
Let's
listen,
go back
you
talking about the
miserable human
birds.
being. If you sneeze and fart, it's a snort, not a shart.
8 miles high. And when we
I
touch
know.
down.
I didn't snort.
Yeah,
but
I will say my favorite version of 8 Miles High is on the Untitled album.
That's a good version.
my
You know, the
favorite-
Byrds were, and they could have, if they could have stuck it out and gone on, listening to the live stuff around that period, the Fillmore and all that stuff, they were a great live, like a jam band. They would do these long versions of those songs. They needed one more great vocalist, I think, would have been great for the Byrds to continue.
And that song came from as a result of their flight to London.
Yeah. That's right. And listening to John Coltrane.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was a Coltrane connection.
That's
Yes.
so hip. That's
If you
so
listen to that weird guitar jam, it's like that weird Coltrane shit he was doing in his out there. Not the bass part, but the you know.
I don't know how we got back to the Byrds, but it's amazing how we
I
did.
took it because I it's better than sharding conversation. Come on.
I don't know.
It's the music,
Hey,
stupid, not the
I'm not gonna-
sharding.
listen.
Stupid.
I'm not going to do a poll, people. But in the comments, can you say sharding versus the Byrds? I think shards will win.
I'd rather shart.
Listen to Younger Than Yesterday.
Whenever I
Wow.
think of Shard, I think of boom,
Younger
boom,
Than
boom,
Yesterday
boom,
is a
boom,
great
boom,
record.
boom.
We
Hey,
just
you know
want,
what?
Here it
Jaws.
comes.
Hey,
just watched,
Harry, if you want to truly experience a shark today, we'll go to the Winkster, and after the meal, you will might. There's a good possibility.
I'm going to answer a question, Marcus. Are the Byrds more influential than the Kinks, right? Probably. The Kinks came around a separate time. Obviously, that first riff, the Kinks influenced a lot of metal bands later with You Really Got Me and All Day, All the Night, that stuff. But I think in overall, the Byrds were more influential, but the Kinks were right in there as another great band.
You know what? I
I
like
think Van Halen.
They did the Kinks.
Van Halen was more because even the Kinks covered a Van Halen song with You Really Got Me.
Oh, is that what they did? Okay.
That was an attempt at humor.
And
Go
the
back
door, even the Doors ripped off the Kinks. Da 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 da. Hello, I Love You is a Kinks.
Hey,
riff.
so I saw a picture of the two Davies brothers together, and I'm hoping they have a new album coming out.
I hope they don't. I'm not one to.
Well, he has. Listen, Mazzy, as a growingly older gentleman, you need to know how they feel about the world today.
If they do it, fine. But
and Ray Davies is one of the best lyric writers ever. So
definitely, we agree.
It's Ray Davis.
You could stick your Davis.
It's Ray.
It's Davies. Davis is the guy who drew Garfield.
You know, the Kinks did that. Someone help me. I'm blanking on the record. When they did it at their Conch Studio Live thing, an acoustic, that double CD set. That's, as far as I know, never came out on vinyl.
One for the Road, or
no. Not it was like a more of acoustic thing, like an unplugged plus a live in the studio in Conch.
Oh,
studio.
yeah.
Back to the Bone. Back to the Bone is vinyl. That would be
Having My Baby, Mazzy. Who did that song?
What?
Having My Baby.
Oh, that's Paul Anka, isn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, Paul Anka.
He wrote it.
Why did that pop into your head?
Because to me, that's like the Byrds goes to that song.
No, what?
There's a direct line between the Byrds and Having My Baby.
Did you just?
Jim, when did you become? When did Jim from Record Collector News become such an asshole, such a wanker? Excuse me.
That was Paul Anka. Never mind.
It was Paul Anka.
I thought it was someone worse than that.
I know my shit. Or some shit.
Paul Anka is a wanker, if you want to talk about wankers.
Yeah, the recent Kinks comps. There's a new one coming out in a month or two, the third one of the trilogy of the kind of the best, the 60th anniversary last year.
Here.
Nobody cares about these boomer bands though anymore. I found that out. I mean, like the stuff I like, I can find it
Okay,
at stores
here's
cheap for the most part.
Oh, I have that album. Didn't Ry Cooder produce that?
It's a
No?
great record, man.
That's that's Paul Hayden's daughter.
Yeah, Ry Cooder,
I
Joaquin.
mean, not Paul
Cooder,
Hayden. What's his name? Charlie Hayden.
Charlie Hayden's daughters,
Yeah,
triplets.
that's the Hayden sister. Hayden.
One of
twins.
them's married to
They're
Jack Black.
triplets, not
Yeah.
twins.
Did Ry Cooder produce that one?
Yes, and this one used to work at Atomic
Wow.
for 4 years. Okay, wait a minute. Rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, babe. Sing with me, Harry.
Hughes Corporation.
You know, I recorded a video that's coming out right after the show. It's my son and I in a car for 29 minutes talking about music, gaming, and animation, right? And it was a great conversation if you're into father and son stuff. And Joseph says this thing towards the end of the video, which never really thought of me. He talks about, you know how, because I asked him about streaming and music, and he's not into records, but he's into music, but as a passive listening. He doesn't like listen to one band. And, you know, obviously the Beatles come up. I think he brings it up. It says, you know, the Beatles, you don't have to listen to it because they're everywhere. They'll come to you eventually. You don't have to go play a Beatle record because Beatles and the Dylan just come to you. But he teaches art to like 12, 13-year-olds too. And sometimes they talk music a little bit. And a lot of these young people, they say they're in Paul McCartney. They don't realize, like they say, the Beatles, and Joe would talk to them about when do these records come out? And they think the 70s for the Beatles, for instance. But he talked about how, you know, we all talk about in our generation music from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, whatever. But from the 2010s on, once the internet hit and became big, most people who got into music from 2010 on don't give a shit either way about new music versus old music. Sure, there are people that follow some of the pop artists now, but basically you could have a new Sabrina Carpenter song and a Beatles song and a Led Zeppelin song. Nope, they're listening on streaming or they're listening on YouTube. It doesn't matter the period. So young people actually are into a lot of old music and old bands because they don't even really think of it that way like we do about decades. And the way Joseph
They think Pearl Jam are old bands.
Hey, can
Yeah,
I do a PSA right now?
Whoa.
This PSA is just to Joseph, Mazzy's son. Hey, Joseph, no one knows better than me, what it's like to be talked down to about music and stuff.
Oh, we don't talk down to each
Mazzy.
other. No, that's not what the conversation's about.
Yes, it is. That's how I feel. I'm wrong and he's right.
That's what you get.
Thank you.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Hey, I'm going to do a little preview of Mazzy's video. Back in my day,
Yeah, that's
back
exactly
in
what
my
it is.
day, the Byrds were better than the Beach Boys. And you know what we used to do? We used to go into a public bathroom and shit, and we were happy about it. It was amazing to us. It looks like Mazzy's shitting right there in front of Joseph.
That's a good photo, actually.
It was a fun ride. We drove up to Michelle's, so it was good.
Here.
I want to.
Anyone ever seen this before? Anyone ever seen this? I don't even know what it is.
Isn't it on the back of an album jacket?
This is like some sort of a bound.
Is that your high school peachy?
Hey, Jim, I got to ask you. There was a record that I almost bought.
Zappa taking it
It
over
was,
too?
Yeah.
It was called Francis something Zappa. Have you seen it? Is it classical?
Francesco Zappa. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a classical album?
Yes. There was
I'm glad I didn't buy it.
There was a classical artist, Francesco Zappa. Zappa found it and he did it on some sort of a computer. And
Easy now. I'm glad you asked this question. It is the record collector news because after you read it, you can wipe with it, and it's environmentally friendly. It won't change.
There's a lot of people that have boomer scalper masthead on their asses because of that, Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, yes.
Remember this? Here, the realist.
Yeah,
Paul Krasner.
I remember that.
I'm not Krasner. Yeah,
I
Krasner.
met Krasner a few times. He lived in the Bay Area.
He's very funny. He was very.
You know,
died.
that one store, Fingerprints, that we went to, they had quite a few like old Rolling Stones and Cream and stuff like that. The old ones for $4.99 a copy. That was pretty reasonable.
Really? That's
Back when you folded in half, you know.
that's the punchline to a joke, you know. Harry.
Hey, okay, I gotta say goodbye. I gotta get ready to head out.
Yes,
do.
I'll see you there.
Yes, I'll grace you with my presence.
Did you know this one, Mazzy?
Yeah, it's a double record. and
Drive
it's
carefully, Harry.
The
Take
thing
your
about
time.
that, they expanded it because when the record came out, some of the stuff with Graham Parsons singing lead, they had to take off because contractual things. So this has all the versions with Graham and Roger. It came out on CD years ago, but Record Store Day, 5-6 years ago, it came out as a vinyl double. It's great.
Cool.
What do you call this? This was like some sort of a record store thing. You know, it's not.
It's a promo, a slick.
It's a promo.
Yeah,
store.
look at the Flying Burrito Brothers came out of the Byrds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo with Graham Parsons. You know,
Where did they go?
well, after Graham left at the second album, he gets on a helicopter at Altamont and goes with Mick Jagger and just left the band. They continued for a long time after that. Sneaky Pete and somewhat different configuration. There's a great live of import only from the 70s of Flying Burrito Brothers in Amsterdam, which is really good.
Here, I've got the.
Yeah, I agree about Graham fucked things up for a lot of bands.
I've got the launch. Oh shit! The launch codes.
Dude, everyone knows that's what you put your grass in.
Do you bring cash to? Okay. Did you go to any of those farewell shows? Fare thee well.
Yeah,
Hey,
I saw some at the forum.
Mazzy, did you see that Real Gone is putting out another? Is it Dan's picks or whatever picks?
Dick picks. They do it all the time.
Yeah,
It's Dave's picks. Dave's pick. I didn't see another
1970 Fillmore East.
Yeah, they do it like a couple times a year. I don't buy all those.
Cage J.
I can't wait. I can't wait for 3 minutes to show up when this fucking thing is over.
Oh, good. We'll talk about.
Talk about.
You know what? Has anyone in the history of the world ever put anything in a briefcase that mattered? Were there any documents that ever mattered to anyone ever put in a briefcase?
Lou
Especially
Pizarro.
one of those silver briefcases. Did anyone walk down the street with anything of value in a briefcase? I need to know.
I used to
Seems
have
like they were all for show. They were all for show, and I don't understand for the life of me how a briefcase was ever made.
You know when
sense.
briefcases made sense? Before computers, because you used to have paper. You couldn't just like have a file or an email.
A briefcase never made sense to anyone who ever had a briefcase.
I used to love traveling with this thing between San Jose and LA. I would fly back and forth right after 9/11, and people.
You know who they're not having a national holiday for? Don Briefcase, who invented the briefcase. Briefcases were outdated when they were dated.
This briefcase was made by Halliburton.
Yeah, actually, do you want me to tell you the only good use for a briefcase before we end the stream? Here's the only good use. When you're in a public bathroom, in a stall, and you put the briefcase down near that part where you could see in, you knew it was occupied. That's the only good use for a briefcase. You knew the guy was in there doing a number 2, which he shouldn't have been doing, but that you see the briefcase, you didn't have to knock or pull on the door.
I
You knew it was occupied because of the briefcase. That's the only use for a briefcase.
Before we leave, I want to acknowledge how much time and thought Rob has put into public bathrooms. Not just today. This obviously is something you've given a lot of thought to, Rob.
Well, okay.
I prefer to you. I've never ever thought of blocking.
Yeah, okay. Before we
Toothpaste.
leave,
Never thought of that.
here's why I put so
No
much thought.
jokes.
Oh, hold on. Before we leave, here's how much thought I put into public bathrooms. When I hang out with Jim, there's a point where I go, I have to get away from this guy. So I go to the public bathroom.
There you go. Yeah. What's your code, please?
All right.
All right.
Here's what I have to say. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate. We actually had conversation without me having to yell at anyone on the stream.
Shut
Well,
up.
that's not totally true, but that's okay.
Well, it's because you had a stupid take on the Byrds.
Go listen
right.
to your Byrds records.
I
please.
just listened to Fifth Dimension and it,
All right. Bye. Bye, everyone. See you on
Hey,
Thursday.
guys.
Bye.